There are so many questions which need to be answered. I think not so much by the person at the heart of this scandal, but by the BBC. For example, the BBC need to answer, and I know they've been asked, when was the complaint first received? Now, we're told it was the 19th of May. When did the BBC record that complaint being received? And how many attempts were made by the BBC to contact the family after that complaint was made? The family say there was no contact, which is what drove them to contact the son. But it's an extraordinary omission. And then, why did the BBC not tell the presenter in question that he should have no further contact with the 17-year-old who was at the centre of the scandal as well? Why is there a report that this presenter then went on and paid more money to the 17-year-old within the last month? Why is that? Bay is interested too. The BBC, we know, protects its own. It's got a reputation for doing so. We only have to think back to the Savile situation, even to the Harris situation. Who knew what when? And so it doesn't look good for the BBC. As for the BBC, well, among other things, I don't think we should be speculating about who it is. That way is foolish and not good. And the BBC have to take charge of this. Maybe had the BBC sorted this out earlier, it wouldn't have come to this. As it is, they are whipping up this whodunnit investigation. They're whipping up a sort of Agatha Christie type speculation. It is, after all, 100 years since Agatha Christie was first published, so maybe that's appropriate. Maybe they've got some great Agatha Christie celebration in hand, of which this is simply the opening salvo. But we should resist it. Speculation is absurd, and the real problem is the BBC. Eamon Holmes on one of those TV programs, I can't remember whether it's GB News or TV Talk TV, says that this is going to come out, and at the moment other people are being suspected of being this person, and that's unfair on them. And at the same time, there may be other people that this person has targeted, paid. Why was he paying money to this individual for photographs, or why that sum? There are so many questions that I suppose could legitimately be asked. There may be some sort of defence, but it doesn't sound and it doesn't look good. The BBC has suffered a number of serious problems over the last year. From we can look at what GB News has to say about is it GB News or is it Talk TV? It's Talk TV, about how people were high up individuals in the BBC were sent letters telling them they were going to be redundant. Then you've got the issue with Gary Lineker. Let's see the bit about the redundant issue here, and about what Julia Hartley-Brewer has to say about this.
Rita Chakrabarti, they've all been sent voluntary redundancy letters.
As if voluntary redundancy wasn't enough, there was the Richard Sharp scandal, and then there was also the Gary Lineker scandal. It's the BBC has been dogged in mire, and of course the threat from Nadine Dorries to stop the BBC licence. In fact, the threat from the present Conservative government, I think, to stop the licence, and then the pleasure with which the BBC seemed to be reporting the Philip Schofield scandal. Too many scandals in too short a space of time, and this one may be just one too many for British media. And as for the future of this unnamed BBC presenter, well, it's now being touted that Philip Schofield may indeed be competing on Strictly Come Dancing in the new lineup, which is being rumoured at the moment on the BBC website. And so maybe the presenter may have to quit his present job and could then go off and turn up on Strictly Come Dancing or Dancing on Ice and redeem himself, or even go and do a Matt Hancock.